Those things are expensive too, man.
Bro, you ain't kidding, man.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Lightning Rod, I got to ask you, as the wrestling world may know, and others outside the wrestling world may possibly know now, recently there was a big story about your claim that you made a man disappear after an attempted rape on your person as a teenager. When this was presented to me, I absolutely took this at face value until I either A, heard from you, or B, heard that it was anything other than to be taken seriously. Would you like to fill us in on what happened here, please?
Well, for those who don't know, what had happened was when I was 13 years old, I worked at a bowling alley in Columbus, Georgia, where I'm from. And there was a bunch of us kids that worked there, because they'd pay us under the table. You ain't supposed to work till you're 16 in Georgia. I don't know how it is anywhere else, but we were 13. And, back then we smoked a little weed, and this guy supplied it. This guy, it was the gay guy that worked at he worked the front desk. His name was Bob. Imagine that. Bob and Neil, his best friend. But,
where I come from, that's funny, too bad. Go on.
But, I'm going to get in trouble again. But so, a lot of the guys would hustle because he would pay the kids, the young boys. He'd pay them $50. This is way back. I'm talking about 1974 or something, 3. He'd pay them $50 to blow them. And, a lot of the guys went for the hustle. They like, yeah, I was 13 years old. Give me $50. And, 2 or 3 times a week, they could buy a car pretty soon,
And a carton of chapstick. Go on. What?
No, they didn't have to do the blowing. They just had to sit there and get blown. Yeah, he did. Yeah,
they were receiving. They weren't pitching.
That would be a catcher.
That's receiving. That's not pitching.
So that'd be a catcher.
Yeah. Now we got Goodfellas talk going on here. Anyway, go on. So, $50 for a Bob and Neil.
So we smoked a little weed back then.
Wait, Marty, real quick.
What?
So you're actually talking. These guys. Oh yeah, I'm letting them blow me. It's fine. And
no, not me.
No, but I get it. But you have.
What he said,
these guys are very open with their comment. It's $50, bro. It's all good.
I was 13 years old.
This must be the 70s.
We weren't making that much at the bowling alley. We were getting like $3.10 back then. Your minimum wage was $3.35, but if you were part time, you got even less. We got like $3.10 an hour.
Wow.
Well, shit, one blowjob and you made more than you go make in a couple of weeks.
In the 70s, this is serious cash. Go on.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
Go on.
Oh my God.
But it is mathematically okay. So we've set the mathematical parameters. What happens from here?
Yeah, so I was going to get a bag of weed from him. A $50 bag of 40. It was actually $40. Back then it was called a lid.
That's a lot of weed in 1974.
It's an ounce.
Look at you.
And they called it a lid back then. You get to buy a lid.
That's a lid and the whole pail, too.
Yeah.
Go on. Yeah.
And so I was going to buy a lid, $40. It's that Mexican dirt weed, but still.
That's the worst of the weed. I know what he's talking about.
It is dirt weed, yeah.
Oh, it's horrible. It's got seeds in it. Go on.
Yeah, and dirt.
Dirt.
So we went out to his car in front of the bowling alley where he was working, and sat there and made the transaction. Got the bag. And he probably figured, like all the other kids there, and he reaches over and he touches him between the legs and goes, "What's this?" And I'm like, no. And I think what he was thinking, we would trade off.
He's thinking you only make it $3.10 an hour. There's no way you could afford $50 worth of weed.
I guess.
So,
and he was just thinking, I'll blow you for the bag.
Exactly.
But I'm like, no, and just shoved his hand away. Let's go get out the car and, go back in.
Right.
And that's kind of where the story should have ended, because that actually happened.
Okay.
And then, but then, he got a little aggressive outside the car. And I'm telling y'all the story that if you haven't heard it before. and he tried to pull me around to the back of the bowling alley and have his way, and I was just 13. He got me down to get on top of me. He's trying to unbutton my pants, and there was a brick right there, and, bam, upside his head. And evidently it was too hard up in the temple area or something. And he rolled over, or fell over. And that was it. Now I got to figure out what to do. I'm 13. Mm-hmm. Now I got a dead body here. What do I do with it? And there's a river, Chattahoochee River is right behind it. And I thought, they find bodies in there. That's where everybody dumps their bodies around here. When there was some bad people around back then, like mafia type people, that's where the river there. So I figured drag him to the river, and throw him in. I was 13. I didn't know what to do. Probably could have just called the police, said he tried to get me. I hit him. Sure. But how many of us have been in that situation where, somebody's trying to rape you and you hit them and then they die? You don't know what you're going to do. I panicked. I'm 13 years old. That has never happened before. And so drug him to the river and threw him in. But the thing that got me in trouble is I told about it on Facebook. And, first of all, they blocked me for it. And then secondly, man, like wildfire, it went everywhere. Every news outlet, every wrestling site.
But what made you, after all these years, feel like you had to tell the story?
I think it had to do with my girl Winnie, the one that's pictured at the bottom, the black girl at the bottom. There should be. There was in the Facebook post. And we had a little spat or something, a little argument, and it kind of hurt my feelings, but her jealousy, and it hurt me because I said next time you get jealous, about something, and it's not into jealousy, and I guess I have CTE real bad, by the way. That's brain damage from concussions. And I've had quite a few of them over 30 years of wrestling. And so, I got caught one of the moments, with my CTE moments, because you can get in a weird place where you don't know if you're hallucinating or is this real. You don't know. I'm going to tell you some stories about that. We probably should talk about CTE in a little bit anyway.
Sure.
But so, I thought, I wrote, that was the last time I told myself, that kind of hurt me a little bit, having to dispose of a body like that. But the man was trying to hurt me, and I said, that was the last time anybody was going to try to hurt me. And that's why I was trying to get the point across to her that, you just hurt me. And I said that would never happen again, but you won't ever get another chance. But so the whole thing, told that because of the pain. It reminded me of a severe pain that, I never knew a pain like that before when I was 13.
Did you realize how public this was going to get in police involvement?
No, hell no. I didn't even realize that night when I was writing it that I was like, hey, So what if it was 47 years ago? And
I've also seen it reported that you said that this was part of a wrestling angle. Is that part of to just get the people to leave you the fuck alone at this point?
Well, I mean,
what's the story?
Well, and it got so. I mean, I had people, my friends from Germany, Japan, Australia. I'm thinking of the ones that sent me news articles because it was in the newspapers in these countries.
Yeah.
I mean, it was worldwide. Wrestlers kills, and the thing that got me the most was everybody was calling me a murderer. Now, what about that little 13-year-old kid that was getting raped?
Correct.
What do you think the rapists do to a lot of their victims afterwards? They kill them.
Correct.
So, I mean, how are y'all calling me a murderer and you don't care a shit about the kid? I just didn't understand that. But when it, Inside Edition got it, People Magazine, TMZ, of course, they don't miss a trick.
Yeah.
And
of course.
when they caught all that fire, I'm like, shit. And now the police are investigating. I mean, and all that shit. So I figured out that, this was a storyline I was creating. you know, and the plan was this, and still might be. I don't know if it's going to work now that everybody knows it. I'm supposedly got away with murder. It worked. Everybody called me a murderer. And I got a friend named Darren Kelly. He wrestles as the guard. He's pretty good. But he really was a correction officer. You ever see the movie Sling Blade?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some of them mustard biscuit. That guy, he looks like him, you know. So but he's built big as hell. Well, the storyline would go, here's a wayward cop, you know, disgruntled cop that really wants to get back in good graces. So he's going to take me in and, you know, save face, right? Yeah. And so, you know, we turned it into the show, wrestling match, where if he wins, I go peacefully, he takes me in. If I win, leave me the hell alone, you know, and let it go. Right. But it never really got that far because fucking police and what's it called? Where closed case, cold case five. Yeah. All these people, I mean, in real life, were getting involved, and I'm like, gosh dang, I better turn this into a storyline. Yeah. So because on the real side of it, I didn't drag him to the river. One of my buddies, we drug him over the woods and poured gas on him and burned him up. And do you know bones don't burn all the way through like you think?
It takes a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a bunch of big chunks left.
So basically, you don't regret it.
Well, I ain't happy about it. I mean, they ain't stuff well putting stars on my arms. They're just, you know. I'd like to say.
Is that your first traumatic moment as a kid?
No, it was some earlier.
You've had earlier things happen. Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, but not like that.
No, not quite like that, but.
No, some of the beatings that from family members were kind of rough. I won't say who, but yeah, that was.
Well, you had problems with your family.
Was that?
You had problems with your family.
No, when we was young, just one of the members of the family wasn't real good at correcting. You know, mm-hmm. not knowing how to spank right. Mm-hmm. Probably went way overboard a lot. Mm-hmm. You know, using a coat hanger instead of a belt and stuff like that.
So do you think you got into professional wrestling just to get away from all of it and just start a new life and be away from what you were going through?